have our first trailer for the brand new Fantastic Four movie, which is titled The Fantastic Four First Steps. Really stupid title. I mean, first things first, you don't need the in the title. You also don't need First Steps. Why does it need a subtitle? Just call it Fantastic Four. Regardless, though, we have our first trailer for this brand new Fantastic Four movie that Marvel Studios is releasing. Of course, the MCU. If you didn't know the story of Fantastic Four, well, of course, it was owned for years by Fox. The film rights for the Fantastic Four were owned by Fox, and they, of course, made a couple different Fantastic Four movies. The original ones, which came out in the early 2000s, which I loved as a kid. You had, of course, the first movie, and then, of course, Rise of the Silver Surfer, which famously had Chris Evans playing the Human Torch. And then you had Four Stick back in, I believe, 2014, 2015. I might be wrong on the year, but it was the rebooted Fantastic Four with Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan, and it sucked. But because Marvel Studios, aka Disney, had bought Fox, well, guess what? We get a new Fantastic Four movie set in the MCU, which has been a dream for most people, seeing as the Fantastic Four is one of the biggest Marvel properties out there. If you're somebody like me who grew up before the MCU really took shape, when you heard the word Marvel, you didn't think of Iron Man and Captain America. You thought of Spider-Man, the X-Men, and Fantastic Four. That was Marvel. So finally seeing what is, or should be, or what was once one of the biggest Marvel properties finally be integrated into the larger Marvel universe gets me kind of excited. In an MCU that's been barren over the last 5 years with the exit of Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans as Iron Man and Captain America respectively, it has been in need of these landmark characters that get audiences excited and bring something that feels amazing and important to the big screen MCU universe. And finally, we might have it. At least Marvel is hoping they have it because they're betting a lot on this film. There's a lot that I really like about this trailer and a lot that I'm excited about with this movie, but I also have some pretty big major gripes and questions. First things first, I really like the cast here. I mean, of course, everybody's going to be raving about this cast. Now, in a perfect world, would I have liked to have seen that Adam Driver, Margot Robbie Fantastic Four movie that was rumored? Yes, I would. In a perfect world, would I rather John Krasinski and Emily Blunt as the two leads here? Of course I would. But, am I happy with this cast as it stands? Of course I am. Pedro Pascal is one of the most lovable men in Hollywood, and yes, he's been getting cast in everything lately. He's, of course, Joel in The Last of Us. He's the Mandalorian, and now he's getting his big Marvel role as Reed Richards, who's one of the best and biggest Marvel characters ever. So, yeah, I'm excited to see him in this role, and hopefully being one of the faces of the MCU moving forward. Vanessa Kirby as the Invisible Woman. I love Vanessa Kirby. I think she's so good in the Mission Impossible movies. She is so amazing and hasn't really had her big breakout into the mainstream role. I think this is easily going to be that. She's incredible and so much fun, and I can't wait to see her in this role. Then you, of course, have Joseph Quinn playing Johnny Storm, playing the Human Torch. Joseph Quinn is a guy who is exploding in Hollywood right now, and everything that he's in, he does spectacularly. He is one of the best working at the moment. He was so good in Stranger Things. I thought he was really, really good in that Quiet Place movie that came out a year ago. I thought he was even better in Gladiator 2, so excited to see him here. Then you have Ebon Moss-Bachrach, of course, from The Bear, one of the standouts from The Bear, playing The Thing, which I'm excited about casting-wise. We'll talk about The Thing in a second, because my god, it's probably my biggest gripe with this trailer. Some other casting, Julia Gardner is playing the female Silver Surfer. I know a lot of people have opinions about that. I love Julia Gardner. I think she's amazing. I can't wait to see what she looks like as the Silver Surfer. Ralph Ineson is voicing Galactus, who we also get a look at and we'll talk about in a second. Ralph Ineson, if you don't know what his voice sounds like, go play Final Fantasy 16. My god, his voice is amazing. Or watch Game of Thrones. John Malkovich is here. Just got a really good cast. I'm also excited with the overall concept of this film. There have been some leaks that I won't go into. Like, the entire script for this movie might have leaked online. And I don't know if it's real, but I had read it. And then watching this trailer, it kind of reaffirms a lot of the stuff that appeared in that leak, and Disney has been known for leaking scripts long before the movies come out. I'm looking at you, Rise of Skywalker. I'll never forget 9 months before that movie coming out, reading in the script leak. She stabs Kylo Ren with a lightsaber, and then heals him with the Force. Well, that's definitely not real, because that's fucking stupid. Well, lo and behold, it was real. These leaks aren't as bad. They're actually pretty exciting, but without getting into them, I love the concept of the Fantastic Four taking place in a different universe and taking place in like an older time, right? The 1930s, 1940s that are kind of integrated with the future. I think that's a really cool take, especially because it gives the writers a way of not having to answer that question that everybody's going to have. You know, if the Fantastic Four have existed within the MCU all of these years, where have they been through all of these conflicts? It's the same question the X-Men are going to have to answer. Where has Charles Xavier and the X-Men been through all of these other conflicts? Why haven't mutants been a topic of conversation, and I'm sure they'll find a way to answer that question using multiversal stuff, but doing it here in this form that they are in a different universe and what that's going to mean and how they're eventually going to cross into the MCU, it leads to a more fascinating way to tell this story without having the MCU really pulling them down, having to explain the logic of it all. It also gives the film a unique visual style, which is cool, which they haven't really been able to do in a lot of Marvel movies. They haven't really been able to do something visually intriguing with the set pieces and the world building. So some stuff I didn't like about this trailer, and I kind of mentioned it before. The Thing. What's going on here? It's 2025, and I know the movie's not done yet, but why does the CGI look so awful? And why is he short? Why is he a munchkin? I don't get it. Listen, maybe it's just my nostalgia. I love The Thing from the original movies. He was all practical, there was no CGI, and that's just when I think of The Thing, I think of that. And maybe that's not good. Maybe it's just my childhood nostalgia telling me it's good, but that's what I like. And even in the Fanforstic movie, which is not great, The Thing felt like the Hulk. It was a gigantic CGI monstrosity, which worked well enough. This is silly to me, and I know they can make him look good, because I've seen them do other gigantic CGI characters looking really good, like the Hulk. This I just don't get, and maybe it will work out better on screen. Maybe it's better for the story. This guy who is tall and a handsome astronaut, and he becomes this short monstrosity of CGI, and maybe it plays into that. I don't dig it yet. Also, the director here is Matt Shakman, I believe the same guy who made WandaVision, a show that, for the most part, I enjoyed. There are some gripes I have with that, but this guy is not exactly a proven cream-of-the-crop director, which, of course, Marvel never brings those kind of filmmakers in. It's very rare that they do. So, yeah, they're unproven until they make these films. So I'm still questioning what the actual writing and the direction's going to look in this film. And Galactus as a villain. Galactus is one of my favorite comic book villains ever, and I've been very intrigued to see how Kevin Feige would do him in the MCU. Him being a Thanos-level villain, and seeing him kind of make it here in this film and be the lead villain of a film this early, I'm a little skeptical of it. Now, I don't know if he's literally the main villain and they're gonna beat him in the end, or if this is kind of like Kang in the terrible Ant-Man movie, where he's the villain here, but he's going to be an even bigger villain as long as he doesn't, like, beat his girlfriend. Which, of course, he did. Or didn't. I don't know. I don't want to get sued. I don't know what the court case says, but he got in trouble. That's all I mean. So I don't know if he's just going to be kind of, like, introduced here and then be a bigger villain later, but he is a massive, massive character. And just having his presence loom over this trailer got me intrigued. Even if you have that one shot of him in Manhattan, which he's, like, shrunk, I guess, because the Celestials are supposed to be bigger than planets, but I don't know how it all works. But I'm excited to see it. He's got a perfect voice actor, and that whole story of Galactus, the Silver Surfer, fighting the Fantastic Four, hopefully it'll be better than the original movie, which I love, but it's not good. I hope this movie also doesn't spend its entire time setting up the Avengers movie that's coming out next year. I have a feeling it is. I have a feeling there's going to be all these references to this oddly Tony Stark-looking Doom guy. This guy, his name is Victor Von Doom, but he looks an awful lot like that Tony Stark feller. I feel like he's just going to show up at some point. There's going to be a lot of references to what he's doing, and then at the end of the movie, it's going to be like, bum, 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 here comes the new Avengers movie. This whole movie was just a setup for the Avengers! I think audiences are sick of that. They're sick of that storytelling. They're sick of going into movies just to find out that they now have to wait a year for the actual story. And audiences bought into that for years and years and years and years and years. They bought into it and they loved it, and then they got that movie, that conclusion in Endgame and Infinity War, right? They got what they were looking for, and now they've been trying to do it again. Well, we're gonna make you wait 6-7 years to get the big movie that you want, and all of these movies are just little setups for all of you to get excited about the big one, which is coming 6-7 years from now. And audiences are just sick of that. Audiences just want a good movie now. We just want a full story, and I'm hoping that's what this is, and it's not just a gigantic setup for a future Avengers versus Galactus movie and a future Doctor Doom Avengers movie, which is coming out next year. But overall, I am intrigued and excited about this movie. It's coming out the same month as Superman, another movie I'm intrigued and excited but skeptical about. It's a very weird time for comic book movies. There's no more surefire bets where that's gonna be a banger and that's gonna be a banger. Now it's, I hope it's good, but I suspect it could be stinky. This is Marvel's big hitter of the year. Of course, they have Captain America and Thunderbolts also coming out this year, but this is the movie they are betting on being a big success, and if it's not, they're gonna have a major problem. It's why they're releasing it in the same month as Superman. They want to go head-to-head with DC. They want to resurrect their brand. Like, this is a big deal, and I hope it's good. This trailer looks pretty good. It got me a little bit excited, and yeah, July can't come soon enough. What do you guys think of the Fanforstic, aka The Fantastic Four, aka First Steps? Whatever we're calling it, The Incredibles in Marvel, I guess, right? Or I guess Incredibles was a ripoff of, I don't know. Let me know down below. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.